So every masterpiece begins the same way, with lines on a blank page. Not a house, not a painting, not a grandiose project, not even the plan itself, just a sketch of what could be. You see, every builder eventually faces the same question. Now that I've built the foundation, what will I create on it? And that's where it begins. Not in motion, but in design. Not in trying harder, but in building wiser. We spend a lot of time chasing the change, losing the weight, managing blood sugars, building habits. We do that, and we forget sometimes that the real goal isn't the change itself, it's the containment, it's the contentment. It is a marker on the way to where we want to go. It's creating a life that can hold what we've already built. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. This is the Limitless Living Blueprint. And tonight we're going to design a life that holds the change. Design a life that takes us to our success. Design a life that takes us to long and healthy life. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. If you're new to me, go ahead and drop new in the comments, because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that I am excited that you are here, that you are joining us as part of this community. If you have questions as we go throughout the episode, go ahead and drop those in the comments as well, and make sure you put a quote, a colon and a Q in front of that, so that we'll know that that's a question that we need to get to. Wherever you're joining us from, on whatever platform you find yourselves right now, thank you for coming through. Special shout out to our accelerator members who are out there, who are hanging out with us. And go ahead, drop in the comments, where are you joining us from? If you're joining us from overseas, we've got some members community members who are joining us, and they watch us from overseas, different countries. Go ahead and drop that in. Also, if you're here from the United States, around the country, go ahead and put where you're from. I know we've got some folks here where I am in Alabama. We've got Tennessee, we've got Georgia, we've got Ohio, some folks from Pennsylvania, New York, California, Nebraska is in the house, right? So we've got all those folks out there. So we are so excited that we get a chance to come along and join you as you work through this trek of improving your health. I've got some important things that we're going to be looking at. I've got my monitors, of course. So go ahead and take a look at that. Got my monitor off to the side that we'll take a look to see what's been going on with my blood sugar. Below me, that is my Dexcom Clarity Report, which we will take a look at in just a little bit, so we can see what's been happening there as well. So I want to make sure that you are having good and successful changes in your life as we work to reverse our metabolic disease, reverse our diabetes, and create the life we've always wanted. And so I didn't say that, right? So I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, that's Wood with an E, right? The E stands for endocrinology. We educate, we empower, and we encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. All right. So lots of good things going on the channel, of course. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hop over, and I'm going to play our promo for the Move series that we have going on right now. If you've not done that yet, it is one of the places where we are providing space for you to plug in and go along as we move through some of the health action plans. So here's that promo right now. Welcome to Move, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Mood. Let's get started. All right. So I'm pretty excited about that series as we are moving through that. So if you've not already done so, go ahead and jump over there. You get to join us as we are improving our health, as we are improving our mind, and actually we're doing something that is communal. So that's a great place for us to be as well. Let's go ahead and let's jump over. Let's take a look at what's going on with my blood sugars. So let's take a look at that. And so what you're looking at right now, this is my Freestyle Libre. And there's my blood sugar. You'll see that there on the that big 85. Down below, right in this area, you'll see what my graph looks like over the course of the last 12 hours or so. Put my finger and we can scroll through that. And you get to see what's been going on. So this is this morning at about 7 a.m. And as we move through the rest of the day, right, 90s, 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 80s. And here's about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's right after lunch, and you'll see that goes up to about 97, well, maybe 109 is the highest that I see there, and then begins coming back down, down, okay? And you see, someone asked me in the office today, about my eating pattern. What do you eat normally? And so one of the things I commented is, as I am moving through my day, my goal is usually to eat one meal a day. Now, I don't say that is my eating pattern. I try to eat one meal a day. There are times where I'll eat one meal a day. Sometimes, depending on what's going on in the family, going on in the office, I'll eat more than one meal. But my goal is always to have a stable blood sugar, okay? All right? So that's what my blood sugar has been over the course of the last 12 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these reports. And here is my time in range, 7 days. And you'll see right there that number, 90% in range. Down below, 10% in low. Those are lows. And that is usually the time when I'm fasting. So my blood sugar will go low when I'm fasting. Usually when I'm not fasting, it does not go low. I don't have, that's not an issue that I suffer with. And then, of course, here's my 90-day, 85% in range, and then 15% lows. Once again, those are during fasting times. If I look at my average blood sugar for 7 days, so that's the last week, you'll see this number right here. It's 90. That's what my average blood sugar is. If I go to 14 days, 87. If I go to 30 days, 88. And, of course, if I go to 90 days, 88. And then I love this because this one actually breaks it down into different times of the day, and you'll see that that's what we have right here. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of this one and get over to, this is my Dexcom now, and so the Dexcom says that my blood sugar right now is 123, and I can also scroll through, and let me do a 12-hour so we can see the same types of numbers as we saw with the Libre. And so if I scroll through that, and the Dexcom tends to be a little higher than the Libre, and you see the Libre was in the 80s and 90s. This one says 100, 120, 130, 130. There's 137. I saw right there. That was the highest I saw. Okay, well, here's 140, 141. And then right about 3 o'clock, which was when we saw the spike for the Libre, went up to 150, 173, yep, right there, 173, and then began coming back down over the course of the rest of the afternoon, okay? And then let's go ahead and take a look at my my Keto Mojo and my Contour. So I've got those off to the side, and for this, I'm going to grab a Lancet and some strips. So I need a blue strip for ketones, brown strip for blood sugar. I need a Lancet, and I need a strip for the Contour. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Grab this one out. Get that back over there. I'm going to get this strip into the Contour, and then go ahead and open up. So here is a brown. This one is for blood sugar. Let's get that out. get that into my monitor. And I'm going to go ahead and open up this one as well, because this is the ketone one, and that's the one that usually, oh, look at that. It came out really nicely today. That's the one that usually gives me trouble. So I'm going to actually have that one right off to the side. All right, so I've got it here. I'm going to just put it off to the side. We'll come back to it in just a minute. And just grab a finger as I normally do. And I don't usually use a Lansing device. Just grab a finger. I've been picking on this one, so let's go ahead and get a poke right there. And ow, ow, ow. Hopefully that gives me, yep, pretty brisk drop. And get that on the Keto Mojo. Another drop for the contour. And so Keto Mojo says I'm 99. Contour says I am 98. And then back over here, let's get back here. Let's see this one. So the Dexcom says I'm 123. And the Libre says I am 84, right? So 84, 99, 98, and then 123 for the Dexcom. So they all are very different from each other on this occasion. Let me go ahead and get a drop of blood there and get that one out. And let's get this into the Keto Mojo. And this is for my ketones. And so you guys saw what my blood sugars are. So what do you think my ketones are going to be? So we've not been fasting since we ended the fast last week. All right, so let's go ahead and get that one going. I'm going to move this off the table. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. So low, right? So low is what we have. Let's go ahead and grab our Keto Mojo app and we'll pull that over. We won't spend a lot of time talking about that. Come on back when we do our fasting episodes. We'll do the first check-in on Wednesday, right? You get to see what those numbers are. But there we have it, and we pulled it over. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say hello. Actually, let's do this. Let's go ahead and look at my monitor or my report. Let's go in here, and here is my 14-day report. That's my average for 14 days, 120. See, I'm in range 99% of the time. Glucose management indicator, 6.2. And if I go to my 90-day average, that is for 90 days. It's coming. So 117 for 90 days. In target 98% of the time. Glucose management indicator being 6.1, target being 70 to 180. And then if I go and take a look at what's been going on, blood sugars over the last day or so, starting from where we are right now, so 127, and then going backwards, and this is the graph that we saw just a minute ago on my app. So 173 is the highest that we saw there, and that was right about 4 o'clock. And that was a couple hours after lunch. So I ate lunch right in here, about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And going back in through the rest of the day, 130s, 140s, down into the, so we were 120s, 130s as we came into the morning, and it kind of stayed there. And going back overnight, all right, so 140s, 150s, 130s, 1 teens, right? So 1 teens right down there, 160, right? So 130s, 140s, and so this was just fluctuating all throughout yesterday. Okay, awesome. So that's what's been going on blood sugar wise. Come on back, and we'll spend more time kind of walking through that as we get into the fast, right? So once we get into the fast, then we'll talk more about ketones and fasting and blood sugars and spend more time looking at what those numbers are. Let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members. I see you guys out there, so let's say hi. Let's see who we have. And I see Bowie. Bowie says, hi, everybody. Hey, Bowie, thank you for coming through and hanging with us. And then Steve saying hello, Bowie. Boy, hi to Steve, Teresa, hey doctor, and everyone. What's up, Teresa? Thank you for coming through. How are you? Good to see you. Teresa saying hi, Boy and Steve, and then of course Steve saying hi to Teresa, and back and forth. So everyone's greeting everyone as we meet. Now that's one of the powers, one of the benefits of being in community, right? So you get to know people, and you get to hang out with them, here in this digital space. So this is where. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and let's get into our discussion for tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do that now, because this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. You're gonna like this. So here we are. So if you've ever built momentum in anything and want to ensure it lasts, this session is for you. Because health isn't just about chasing motivation, it's about creating design. And design isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about shaping your day, your energy, your environment, so progress isn't temporary, it's structural. And as we continue improving our health, we have had some amazing results. Losing weight, A1C coming down, our plans to get off of medication has worked. A lot of people are off medications. They go to their doctor's office and the doctor is amazed at what they see. So let's build a framework that keeps your success standing. This is where knowledge meets design, where theory becomes structure and structure becomes strength. This is the amazing part, because understanding is power, but application is transformation. And that's where we want to be. That's where we want to go. That's where we want to head. And so we're talking about blueprints. And so we're introducing the blueprint idea. Blueprint is the structure. It's the thing that builds, that helps us to go where we want to be. So designing a life that holds your change, the changes that you've made. So let me tell you a story. And the story is about a patient. And really, this could be lots of patients, because I get this all the time. John came in, and of course I'm using John as his name, and he had lost 40 pounds. He was down. Blood sugars were good. He was sleeping through the night, having amazing results for the first time in years. In fact, when I sit and I talk with him, he said, I've not felt this good in a long time. And then he asked me the question that I've heard hundreds of times now, and perhaps that's going through your head right now. He says, Doc, I'm worried. I said, so what's going on? Because I thought, something was happening. He said, no, I'm worried. How do I keep this up? Notice, he hadn't fallen off. He hadn't gotten off track. He hadn't fallen off the rag, gotten off, whatever the phrases that we use. He was actually in the process of living his best life. And in the back of his mind, the question was there. How do I keep this going? And I told him the same way that you built it, but this time you build it to last. You see, John didn't need another plan to lose the weight. He didn't need another way to get him where he needed to go. He needed a pattern that would keep him there. He had the rhythm, He just didn't have reinforcement. He had results, but he just didn't have roots. And that's the danger of living from effort instead of by design. Effort gets you up the hill, but design keeps you on it. If you've ever been in that space, feeling the old you pulling at the new you, that's not failure. That's an architectural problem. The system is asking for some design. The system wants you to know, hey, yeah, I'm good where I am. But how can we do better? How can we get to a different place? And that's what we want to talk about. That's what we want to do. How do we design a life that holds the change that we are building? And you know, there's science. There's science behind design. Your body is a masterpiece of design. Now, I'm a hormonal guy, right? I'm a doctor who deals with hormones. And of course, I think that the body functions simply because of hormones. The cardiologist may think differently, and the other specialty, everybody thinks their system is like the best, but honestly, the endocrine system is the best. Nothing functions without the endocrine system. I might be a little biased, but I want you to imagine this, that how tall you are, how short you are, how much weight you put on, how fast your heart goes, menstrual cycles, libido, hair growth, skin, nails, hair, all of those can be influenced by hormones. And not just hormones, but in the body, enzymes. Those are those things that help the metabolism function. Every single cell runs on a rhythm, and it runs on feedback. Cortisol rises in the morning, and it wakes us up. You think it's your alarm clock, but no, it's not the alarm clock. Insulin responds to what you eat. Melatonin signals that it's time to rest when the light goes down. That's not random. That's design. Biological architecture in motion. And when we live out of sync with the design, skipping rest, ignoring hunger, overloading with stress, our system gets offbeat. Health doesn't vanish. It is simply destabilized. And just like any structure, without reinforcement, cracks begin to show up. Fatigue, cravings, frustration, doubt. So the solution isn't to push harder. Come on. It's to align your design with your biology. To live like the hormones, in rhythm, with feedback. And to build something that helps you to recover. So your biology isn't broken. It's just asking for design. There's science there. There's science there. So the design principle is consistent. The design principle for everything in our lives is consistent. And I teach every sustainable life concept. And when I'm teaching with the Triple E formula for success, I'm looking for something. Every sustainable thing that you want to build needs rhythm, alignment, and structure. Rhythm is your beat. The predictable flow that lets your body trust you again. It is the thing that you are about. What is your bent? What is your goal? What is your function What is your purpose? And then are there rhythms to your life? Or is everything haphazard? It's kind of like I was driving down the highway several months ago now, because they've now since opened. But we'd been going down this highway for months and months and months and months. And they were building an emergency department, a freestanding emergency department along the highway. And we would drive by and nothing was happening. So we thought. And then one day we're driving by and we look over and my son said, "Daddy, when did they build that?" They had been building it all the time. There was a system in place. People showed up, right? They brought in whatever they needed to bring. They laid the foundation. They excavated, then laid the foundation. People were in there doing their thing. There was a rhythm. They had the contractors come in, and this one had to come at that time, and that one had to come in. And before long, everything was there. So the rhythm. Alignment is your compass. The way that you go is indicated by the alignment. The why that keeps your actions and aims you towards your purpose. And then structure is the scaffolding, the framework that lets your goals survive stress. And stress will come. Most people chase rhythm. Yep. And we can't chase rhythm. We just need consistency. But consistency without alignment burns out. If you don't understand why you're doing it, if you don't know why you're doing it, then it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a chore. It's always going to be a fight. It's always going to be an uphill battle. An alignment without structure falls apart. Rhythm, alignment, and structure. The power is in the integration. Because design isn't about perfection, it's about pattern. One of the things that I learned, we were doing our 100-day walk to consistency series, and so I was researching several of the concepts and trying to expand and explore them some more for myself. And there's this concept of a capstone or keystone, right? Capstone and a keystone. But a keystone is a stone that when it's in place, all the other stones actually fit together. And a lot of times when they built with keystones, they didn't need anything else to keep them together. Right? They put it together. And you've seen those movies, right? So, and I'm a sci-fi person, right? So you see those movies where, there's one piece of stone that everybody's looking at and it doesn't look like anything special. And they put it someplace and all of a sudden everything opens up or everything comes together. That's the keystone. That's why when we talk about blueprints, we're not adding new rules. What we're doing is we're saying, what is that thing that is required to keep this going? We're creating reliability. So rhythm builds trust. Alignment builds direction. And structure builds endurance. So sometimes we think of structure as confinement. But structure is not confinement. Structure is actually freedom. Design isn't a cage. It's a choreography. Can you imagine a piece of music? You're listening to some music on the radio or you're listening to recently they had what do they call it? Spirit Week or it's Spirit Week, but they do different things during Spirit Weeks. Anyway, so today it was dressed like the 90s. And so my son said to me, he said, "Hey, Daddy, do you have any old time stuff?" And so we went out the garage and I pulled out a whole box of CDs, right? And then you guys remember back in the day where they used to have before digital, right? So you would go to the store and you would take them your film and they would give you back a disc, and on the disc the pictures were there, and then you bring it home, put it in the computer, you pull it out. So anyway, so we found some of those found some of those out there. And so we're walking through and we're going through all this stuff. Anyway, so I got a picture of him, dressed up in old time stuff, and I was like, "Wow, old time stuff." Yeah, it is old time. So sometimes we think of the things that we got to do, the design as a cage. But think of a piece of music, like on some of those CDs that we found. And if there was not a design and every instrument was doing its own thing, playing, this one is in one key, that's another key, that's in one tempo, this is another tempo, it would be chaos. But within the design, within the structure, everyone is allowed to do what they do. And because of the structure, because of the design, everything comes out beautifully. And you listen to it, and even though within the structure, every instrument, every voice may be doing something different, it's doing it within the design. And because it's doing it within the design, there's freedom. And that's the beauty of the design. That's the beauty of the blueprint. When we and they're building a house right near to us, and so sometimes I'm going by there, and it's going by up quickly, by the way. Sometimes I'm going by there, and I see, different contractors are coming in, right? So one day there's the concrete people, next day is the electrical people, next day is this person. And from someone looking from the outside, it looks like chaos, like everybody's coming and doing their thing. But for the person who has the blueprint and person who has the timeline, the structure, then they know that they can't pour concrete until the plumbing guy comes. And they can't put up the drywall until the electrical people are there. And they can't, right? So there is freedom. So I can keep doing what I need to do because I don't have to worry, because I know there's a time, there's a structure, there's a place, there's a design for when the other person is coming. So within that structure is now my design. And if I keep that up, then yes, it works. So design is not a cage. It's choreography. It's the thing that takes me in that direction. Okay? So what are the elements of a design, of a blueprint? Well, I want to talk to you about three. Three. And these are going to be very, very instrumental as we continue walking through this path of designing this blueprint. So let's walk through those. Number one is to define your anchors. Define your anchors. Anchors are the non-negotiables that keep your rhythm steady. The non-negotiables that keep your rhythm steady. Whatever they are. So if you're saving, there are some non-negotiables. If I'm trying to save for a car, right? Or I'm trying to save for a house, or I'm trying to save for a trip. Well, one of the non-negotiables is I can't spend all the money somewhere else. I have an amount that I need to have for the thing I want to do. And if I spend beyond what I'm allotted, then I can't do the thing. So it's a non-negotiable. At your job, there's some non-negotiables. You can't just show up whenever you want. You can't just leave when you want. There's some non-negotiables. There's structure there. So what are your non-negotiables when it comes to your health? So define what those are. Those are your part of your guardrails, your anchors. They pull you back to balance. Now, I want you to know and realize when I started our discussion, I didn't talk about someone who slipped, someone who got off course, someone who got off track, someone who wasn't succeeding, someone who didn't have good blood sugars, wasn't resting, weight was going up. This was someone who had achieved a lot of success. Improved blood sugars, improved sleep, weight is down 40 pounds. Someone who's successful. So we're not talking about how do we motivate you to come back after a fall. You're there. The question is, how do we keep it there? Right? So a lot of times we talk about people who, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or we think of to ourselves, man, I can't do it, or I keep falling. We're not talking about falling. We're talking about when you're there. How do you keep it there? And well, we're gonna make a point here in just a minute. Okay? So we're talking about so define the anchors. Number 2, build in feedback. Feedback closes the loop. Just like if you're a diabetic, you're checking your blood sugars. Just like if you are walking on fasting, you're checking ketones. There's feedback. You're in a relationship, there's feedback. Okay? What's your body doing? Reflection shows what your choices are doing. Don't just do the thing, observe the effect. One of the models that we've talked about is the COPE model, COPE, clarify, observe, pause, execute. So clarify, the observe part is what is going on within my body? How is that thing affecting me? When I do my check-in, when I do my fasting, one of the things I talk about is what is going on inside of me, because I want to know, how is the fasting affecting what I do? How is my body responding? How is my mind responding? Do you have feedback? Right? So define the anchors, build in feedback, and that may look like someone else that you've given permission to speak to you, right? So feedback. And then curate your environment. Curate your environment. What does that mean? Every environment sends a message. Your kitchen, your calendar, your company, they all either reinforce the new life or they rehearse the old life. You want to design around you what you need until it sounds like the person you're becoming. When your environment speaks to you, does it sound like you? Or does it sound like the old you? Because the success that John had came out of who he was. The success that you have comes out of who you were. And that old person those old habits, those old behaviors are still there. So the question is, how do we make sure they don't pull us back to a place we don't want to go? So your environment should sound like the person you are. Those are the elements of a limitless living blueprint. So what are the benefits of design? The benefits of design. When we have design, there is clarity. Your priorities stop competing. When we have design, just like on the job, when they're building, every person, every team, every contractor knows what the goal is. And their job is simply to come in and do their part at the right time. So it's not, okay, I'm going to come in and do it whenever I want to do it because I want to make sure everybody knows that I am doing it. No, you come at the second week, you come at the third week, you come at the second and a half week, you come at the time because there's clarity. There's no competing in priorities. When there's design, there is consistency. Your actions flow naturally from who you are because there's clarity. I know what I'm about. I know where I'm heading. When there is a design, there is confidence. You stop needing perfect days to feel like you're progressing. There is self-confidence there that I am doing the things that I need to do for my health. I've seen the benefits already because I'm here. And I know if I continue doing what I'm doing, I keep getting success. So you get clarity, stop competing. You get consistency. Your actions flow from who you are. You gain confidence. You stop needing perfect days to feel like you're progressing, and you gain capacity. The strength to expand without collapsing. So remember what my patient asked me, right? And what people ask me, how do I keep this going? And within that, there is the indication or the suggestion that, man, I've just been kind of holding on. How do I keep going? One of the conversations I have in my office is with people who we're putting on a GLP-1 receptor agonist. And those are the medications that people are using for weight loss, right? It's indicated for a couple of things, right? So some of it are indicated for blood sugar control, and some are indicated for weight management. And several years ago, there was a shortage because of manufacturing and because they were so they were giving so much benefit that people were using them, all over the place. And so the companies had difficulty keeping up with the demand. As a result of that, there were a lot of compounding places that came into being as a result, right? So this product was giving amazing results. The companies who were making it couldn't keep up. And so the compounding folks got in on it. And so they've been making a lot of money, and they've been having a lot of benefit, right? So people are having good successes with it. Well, one of the things that began happening is when people were losing weight, or people lost a lot of weight, when the shortage happened, they came to the office almost in panic. Why? Because finally they had found something that was working for them, and then they could no longer get it. So some people for weeks and months at a time could not get their medication. And during that time, what do you think happened to their weight? Their weight began going up. And their weight began going up because there was not a plan. The plan at the time was simply, I'm going to take the medication. But the structure that goes along with the plan or with the medication, the back work that we are going to be doing, the back work that you have done, wasn't there. And so when the medication went away, because there was no structure, because there was no capacity, there's no confidence, there's no consistency, there wasn't any clarity, then panic set in. And people came in and said, what am I going to do? And so one of the conversations I have now with people is I say to them, hey, you're on this medication, but while you're there, this is a great time for us now to begin working on a plan in case something happens. Whether you can no longer afford it because the insurance no longer pays, or there is another shortage, or you develop a side effect of the medication, or you travel and wherever you are, you can't get it. You left it at home. What happens in that case? And you've had some successes. You've had some weight loss. 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. You're down. Your A1C is better. You went to your doctor and they took you off of medication. You went to the store and you're buying new clothes and everybody sees you and they're like, man, look at this. You look amazing. Tell me what you're doing. You're there. You've not slipped. You've not fallen. You've not gotten off track. You're living your best life right now. That's when health stops being something you work on and it becomes something that works with you. That's the life that holds the change. When we develop that capacity, we develop the confidence, we develop the consistency and the clarity. That's the benefit of design. And so this is not about, oh, you need to be motivated to come back into the fold. You need to be motivated to do what you need to do. Everybody knows. I often ask my colleagues sometimes, and it's a funny question I ask them, right? Because sometimes, and as a medical community, sometimes patients feel like we think that they don't care about their health. And nobody, or the rare person, let me say, I can say nobody because I don't know everything, but it's the rare person that gets up and doesn't care how they look, that their blood sugar is out of control, that they're at risk for heart attacks and heart disease. That's not the norm. People care. People want to get better. People are better. And the question then becomes, how do we keep it up? And that's what Blueprints is all about. It's about putting another layer in the structure of your limitless life. Remember, real change isn't about doing more. It's about designing better. Every habit you reinforce, every rhythm you build, every alignment you protect strengthens the framework that holds your growth. So our goal is to keep building forward, keep supporting what we've already done. Because once you design it, it holds. Once you put it in place, it holds. So design is an art of making your success inevitable. It's the quiet architecture beneath your best days. It's the safety net beneath your habitual and your hardest days. If you've ever felt worried that you can't maintain what you're doing, if you've ever felt, man, this is great, and you're like, yeah, I wonder if something's gonna happen. This is your season to design the bridge. Don't wait until we are at the point where we need to do something. Right now, you've had success. This is the place where Blueprints comes in. And over the next several discussions, we'll talk about how we build the bridges together, connecting the principles of rhythm, alignment, and structure into your daily reality. Because the goal isn't to live harder, it's to live by design. Because if we can do that, if we live by design, we'll achieve our goal. And remember, our goal is long, healthy life. So I am very excited about the benefits that I hear and I see in our community. I'm excited about the things I see in my patients when they come to the office. One of one of the things that I am amazed at sometimes, and I shouldn't be, is I'll have someone come up to me at church, or someone that there's someone who works at our hospital that really, I see them and, we may, hi, how are you doing, kind of thing, passing in the hallway. So we don't usually interact much. But I was in the cafeteria one day, and I was getting some yogurt and a bag of chips. And this was well into my journey in my weight. At the time, I had just maybe lost my 100 pounds and so forth. And this person had never said anything to me about weight. And so I was in the cafeteria and picking up the chips and picking up the yogurt, and they said to me, Dr. Woode, I'm so proud of what you have done. I've been watching you, and I'm so glad that you've lost weight. And I wish I could do that. I've been watching you as you come into the cafeteria. I'm watching what you've been picking up. I'm watching what you've been eating. Now notice, I had no idea that this was going on. Right? I was just doing my thing, being me. There is such power that comes from structure, that comes from the blueprint, that comes from the space that we're in. It's not just a simple thing. I know we think it's just, it's just my blood sugar, it's just my weight, it's just my whatever it is. Whatever your thing is, it's not just anything. It is a humongous benefit to you and it's a humongous benefit to the community at large. Remember, your worst day, your worst issue, your worst thing that you've come out of, there's somebody who can learn something from that. So don't hide it. Which is why I'm so excited when I talk about our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the blogs and the podcasts and the show, right? To change our mindset, to help us know that we're not in a fixed mindset. We are in a growth mindset. We can get better. We can be different. We can make changes. And the goals that you have, the successes that you've had, we want to maintain those. Right? You've done an amazing job. We walked through, think about it, right? So we've done our fasting. We've walked through the health action plan. Our accelerator folks got involved. We did play your own game, finishing strong, right? So we've been humping it. And so now we have had some successes. You've had the weight loss. You've had the blood sugar go down. You're off the medication. You are doing it right now. And the question is not, okay, how do we motivate you to keep going or motivate you to do it? It is, okay, now what do we put in place to keep it there? And Blueprints is that. So educate, we empower with the tools that we're learning, Blueprints. And we encourage with the community that you're a part of that you are not just helping to bring together, but you're helping to grow. Because when the community sees you, just like that lady who said to me, hey, I've been watching you. Yeah. You get to be an example. You get to be an ambassador for health. How about that? Have you ever thought you would be the ambassador for health? Right? A lot of us thought, man, hope nobody's watching me for my health. You are the ambassador. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to our community. I see some of our folks out there. And let me see. Let me go back up. I see a bunch of folks who came in. There we go. Let's see. So Gian says, hi, Teresa. Bowie saying, hi, Gian. Hi, Bowie. Jennifer, what's up? Howdy, all from Jennifer. Howdy, Jennifer from Gian and from Bowie. Hi, Steve. What's up, Steve? Since I started women, I overeat. So Jennifer said, I do that too. I find that if I start the meal with protein and fats, I do better. Oh, man, Jennifer, thank you for putting that in there. And everybody understands why that is, right? So proteins and fat, they slow the GI tract, make you feel fuller longer. The fat helps your body produce something called CCK, or cholecystokinin, which helps to slow the GI tract. When you eat protein, it produces protein YY, which helps to signal the brain that we're full, right? So there are lots of benefits, right? Just like Jennifer is saying, when we eat the protein. Teresa, hey, Jennifer, hey. And Bowie says, building clarity is very complex. It takes a lot of self-awareness to steady against unpredictable conflicts. One step at a time, though. Thank you for bringing this to mind. Yes, very good. I love that. And Rebar saying, hey, community, what's up? Oh, Rebar, let me give you a hand clap and some music. Thank you for coming through. All right. So everyone, I am excited for this as we continue moving through the next several weeks, right? We're going to be talking about blueprints. And the blueprints, once again, the blueprint is not a beat you over the head, right? Hey, let me motivate you to go, right? So people are getting benefits. And one of the questions that we all ask, not just me here in this space, but across the country and around the world, the question that endocrinologists, physicians, metabolic doctors are asking is, how do we help people maintain? Because that's the problem. That's the issue. And people, I'll tell you, honestly, there are people who don't pursue health because they've done it before and they've not been able to maintain it. So our goal is, how do we put those things in place to help us maintain? Now, we've talked about how do we put things in place to get us there, right? But how do we put things in place now to keep us there and to help us continue growing? Because after all, our goal is long, healthy life. It is to watch the kids grow up and have your kid ask you about old time stuff, right? And to see them move into the world, to be with your significant other after you guys have put so much time into other things. Now put time into each other. It's to be there for the grandkids and be there to enjoy the fruits of your labor, if you will. It's to be around to enjoy some of us have had some health issues, and we finally have gotten past some of those. We've made some changes and we're better now. And we want to be around for that. That's the goal of all that we do. This is personal, y'all. And so how do we do that? We got to have some structure. We got to have some blueprints. And we'll be talking more about that as we continue moving through the next several weeks. So come on back, hang out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do our pop-up live as we start our fasting for this week. Go ahead and make sure that you join us. You get to see what I eat for the last time before I get into the fast. And then Wednesday night, we'll have our check-in at 56 hours. Of course, we'll have not 56, 33 hours. We'll have our check-in on Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon at 24 hours. On Thursday, we'll have our 56-hour. And then, of course, on Friday, we'll have our complete review of fasting, where we talk about how to prepare for the fast, get through the fast, and, of course, break the fast. You get to see what I eat for the first time in 72 hours, y'all. And if you've not done so yet, make sure you jump in and join us for our Move campaign. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications. Go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. For our accelerator members, that link will come out there in the Kajabi here in just a minute. And here is our promo for Move, and then we'll be out. All right, everybody, have a great one. Welcome to Move, Metabolic Optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started.